Are you thinking about getting a new blender this year? Maybe you want something that doesn't break the bank but can still handle everything from blending fresh fruits to frozen ingredients. The problem is, a lot of blenders sound great on paper but don't actually perform well in the kitchen. So to help you choose the right one, we spent thousands of dollars testing 60 of the most popular and best-selling blenders on the market. These blenders range from around $100 to $500, and the lineup included full-size blenders, portion-on blenders, and immersion blenders. And depending on the type of blender, we ran the most relevant tests for each one, including fresh fruit smoothies, frozen blends, soups, mayonnaise, ice crushing, and protein shakes, among others. We also look at their design and usability, so it isn't just about power. And in the end, here's the 7 best blenders you won't regret buying. First up, the NutriBullet Blender Combo. Next, the Ninja SS151 TWISTi Blender Duo. The Vitamix Explorian E310. The Vitamix 5200. We also have the Oster Pro and the Braun MultiQuick 5-hand blender. And finally, the NutriBullet Pro 900-watt portion-on blender. I'm Tina and welcome back to our Shouldit Blender Series. NutriBullet Blender Combo, best to buy. For the price, this is a budget-friendly option. It comes with a 1200-watt motor, a large 64-ounce pitcher for full-size batches, and portion-on blending cups for smaller servings. It also includes dual blade setups with one designed for the full-size pitcher and another extractor blade for the cups, which makes the whole system more flexible for different kinds of blending. On top of that, you get multiple speaks, a pause function, a tamper, and a venting lid that can handle hot ingredients. And honestly, we love how nice it looks on our counter. We also saw consistently strong performance here. In the green smoothie test, it liquefied the fruits in about 30 seconds, then needed only another 30 seconds to finish the kale. The smoothie came out very smooth with almost no fibrous peaks. We also used it to make a frozen fruit smoothie, and the result was very impressive. Everything was blended evenly, so the drink tasted great. It did great in the protein shake test too. It powered through nuts, oats, and dry blueberries without any hassle in 1 minute and 30 seconds. After training, we saw a few tiny pieces, but the oats blended well enough that the shake still felt creamy and not really grainy. Test number 4 is almond butter, and this is the one task the NutriBullet didn't handle well. It took about 6 minutes to reach a fairly smooth paste, and even then it wasn't very silky. On the price side, ice was no problem. It turned 12 ounces of ice into snow in 30 seconds. That's a very strong performance, and it's more than we can say for lots of blenders in this range. So across on our test, it finished with a performance score of 8.6 out of 10. We were also impressed by how easy it is to use. In most tests, we didn't need to stir or babysit the blend. It also stays steady on the counter with no wobbling. Besides that, it fits under most cabinets, and the build quality is decent for the price, with stainless steel blades and PPA-free plastic container. At full power, it hits around 100 decibels, but it doesn't sound too harsh. The controls are also straightforward, and the buttons respond nicely. Just so you know, the blade isn't removable, so washing around it can be a little tricky. So at number 1 is the NutriBullet Combo, which we rank as the best to buy. and we recommend it if you want a heavy-duty blender at an affordable price. Ninja SS151 TWISTi Duo Best Ninja Blender. And this one is completely different from the rest. Despite a small footprint, it comes with a heavy-duty motor rated up to 1600 watts. The design also stands out because the temper is built right into the center of the lid. There are also up to 5 smart presets, and with 3 cups at different sizes included, it's easy to switch between single servings and small batches. The efficiency is good here too. We started with kale and fresh fruit, and the result matched our expectations. Everything was smooth enough to rinse in about 1 minute, then turn silky with another 30 seconds of blending. The frozen fruit test took the same amount of time, about 1 minute 30 seconds. The narrow container and large fruit chunks slowed things down at first, but once we used the tamper to help circulation, the blender quickly caught up. The Ninja TWISTi is also one of the fastest in our protein drug test. After 1 minute of blending, we trained it through a fine mesh strainer and found just a few amount of flakes, but they are minor and easy to overlook in real use. The almond butter test was slower though, since the texture only becomes predictable once enough oil is released, but it wasn't a long wait. Eventually, we achieved a homemade butter that spread easily at roughly 2 minutes 30 seconds. For the final test, it managed to cross on the ice, but it didn't reach a fluffy texture because some ice kept compacting near the blades. You can fix that by simply using less ice at a time. So all things considered, it came in at a 9.2 out of 10. As for the design, this Ninja takes up less vertical space than most other blenders on this list. You are getting a premium build, and some parts use mid-range materials, but they are sturdy in hand and well assembled. The blender runs up to 20,000 RPM, and at max speed, it's very low at 105 decibels. Since the temper is built into the lid, cleaning also takes a bit more effort. Of all the Ninja blenders we tested, this TWISTi scored the highest. That's why we rank it as the best Ninja blender. If you regularly blend for several people, you might prefer something bigger. The 34-ounce capacity here is best suited for 2 people at most. Vitamix Explorian E310 Best Performance. This is a professional quality blender with premium build and top-notch power. It costs less than many Vitamix models while still delivering the versatility and durability most standard blenders can reach. You can get a manual control system with 10 variable speeds, a temper for thick blends, and a self-cleaning design that makes cleanup quick and easy. The compact 48-ounce container is also a great addition, especially for smaller households or kitchens with limited counter space. In our 5 test run, we didn't run into any major issues. Leafy greens were turned into a perfect smoothie within seconds. You don't get the gritty feel or little green specks that ruin the first sip. Frozen fruits also finish with a thick ice cream-like texture you will actually want to eat with a spoon. Even denser ingredients like oat, almonds, and dried blueberries still couldn't slow it down. The shake pulled out rich and creamy, which is something many other brands still struggle to deliver. And if homemade nut butter is something you want to make often, this is one of the easiest and most reliable options. In about 90 seconds, you get a wholesome spread that keeps the flavor pure and the texture beautifully smooth. It's also a bit crushing ice. You can run a full batch for 30 seconds and end up with soft snow like ice that is perfect for smoothies, frozen drinks, and desserts. So taking everything into account, we gave it a performance score of 9.8 out of 10. Most importantly, aside from the butter task, we never had to lift a finger. This means no interruptions needed. The controls are simple too, a dial and a few switches, all responsive and easy to use. We also really like its classic traditional design. Plus, the motor is stable, the container is heat resistant, and the blades are cut from high quality stainless steel. And when you're done, the core can be wrapped and tucked into the base to avoid clutter. So at number 3 is the Vitamix A310, which we rank as the best performance blender. For those who want a long-lasting workhorse that can tackle all kinds of ingredients flawlessly, this Vitamix A310 is the one to get, especially considering its generous 5-year warranty. Vitamix 5200 Best Upgrade. This is one of the most iconic blenders ever made. You get a 2 horsepower motor and an aircraft-grade stainless steel blade, the kind of components you rarely see outside premium machines. The tall 64-ounce container is designed for family-size budgets, so you can easily prepare about 4 to 6 servings at once. It also includes a tamper that you can use to move thick mixture toward the blades without having to stop it. And on the counter, it also feels especially solid and substantial. Performance-wise, our Vitamix 5200 is nothing short of exceptional. In the green smoothie test, the kale was fully liquefied with almost no leftover fibers, so we got a perfect drink in just 1 minute. It didn't disappoint us in the next test either. In just 45 seconds, all the frozen foods were already turned into a silky mixture. The tamper also had pushed ingredients down, speeding up the process. Very few blenders can process frozen ingredients that quickly. Now, the biggest challenge was a protein shake, but our Vitamix 5200 made it look almost too easy. The blades burned up instantly, pulling everything into a strong voltage and breaking it down in seconds. The shake came out smooth and satisfying, even if you're picky about texture. It also could make a silky smooth almond butter using only the nuts in just 60 seconds. And that's an outstanding speed, about 2 to 3 times faster than most of the other blenders we tested. The only area where it demanded a little finesse was with full loads of ice. Out of 12 ounces of ice, about 19% stayed uncrushed. The rest came out fine, but it wasn't the snow-like texture we hoped for, so it came out near the top of our ratings with a performance score of 9.7 out of 10. As for build quality, every component feels premium. You can run it continuously for 6 minutes without the motor overheating. It also keeps things simple with a dial for 10 speed levels. Vitamix even backs it up with a 7-year warranty, which says a lot about the brand's confidence in its durability. However, it's quite tall, nearly 20 inches with the container, so it may not fit under your standard kitchen cabinet. Still, if you have the space for it and the price works for you, this blender is a winner. So at number 4, the Vitamix 5200, which we rank as the best upgrade. Oster Pro Best Small Blender. The Oster Pro is the most space-saving blender in our list, so it's well suited for small kitchens or spaces with limited storage. Even with that smaller size, it combines a 1200-watt motor with dual direction blade technology, a 48-ounce glass jar, and a 24-ounce travel cup giving you a setup that feels more flexible than you may expect at this price. And our hands-on testing confirmed that it processes greens with no problem. So even the tougher leafy ingredients blend in cleanly and the smoothie comes out the way it should. Frozen smoothies are also on the table with this one. During the test, the fruit's firmness did give it some trouble early on, and we had to pause briefly to have things along. But in the end, the smoothie was still good. You can also use it to prepare protein shakes and almond butter, but it may take a bit more time and the result won't be quite as refined as those from top-tier blenders. It can even crush whole ice, which is more than many low-cost blenders can say. We timed it in our test, and it took only 45 seconds to turn the ice into a sugar-like crush. So after factoring in all 5 tests, the performance score of the Oster Pro was 8.5 out of 10. The design isn't the most modern looking out there, and some people may find it a little dated, but it doesn't look flimsy or cheaply made at all. The jar can feel heavier when pouring or cleaning than plastic, but it heats safe and does a better job resisting stains and trap smells. In terms of sound, it matches most auto models here with a slightly softer presence. Moreover, the controls are clearly labeled, so nothing is confusing. And because the blade is removable, you can actually clean the whole thing properly without leaving anything behind. So at number 5 is the Oster Pro, which we rank as the best small blender. Braun MultiQuick 5 Best Immersion Blender. This immersion blender is all about convenience. It works directly in your pot or cup, so there's no extra pouring, no bulky jar to deal with, and much less cleaning up. It feels comfortable in the hand thanks to its ergonomic handle and BPA-free silicone coating that gives you a slip-resistant grip. It also features a simple-to-speak system, and in addition to the standard length one, it even comes with the whisk attachment, which is a nice extra you don't usually get with most mid-range blenders. Of all the hand blenders we've tested, it's by far the most well-rounded one, allowing us to achieve a wide range of texture with ease. The blades are more durable than you might expect at this price, and together with the strong motor, they give the blender impressive pureeing ability. In only 30 seconds, a chunky to serving pot of soup turns smooth, creamy, and ready to serve. Its frozen fruit smoothie result was another pleasant surprise, coming out fully chunk-free in only 1 minute. It's even faster in the almond milk test. After just 47 seconds, the nuts were ground out enough to create a creamy drink with a light natural sweetness. We also like that the whisk attachment comes included. It emulsifies the mayonnaise nicely. The result has enough thickness to feel properly spreadable. It also whips egg whites to stick peaks in about 2 minutes, which is perfect for meringue and similar recipes. So with on-fire test considered, it received an 8.8 out of 10 for performance. That's a great score, but honestly, the performance isn't even the only thing we like about it. It's also just a pleasure to use. It sits snugly in the hand, and every motion is easy to manage, slim and compact. You can also tuck it in a drawer or hang it on a hook. The materials aren't going to wow you, and we pick up a few small scratches during testing, but none of that gets in the way of its performance. It's also easy to switch attachments. There's a bottom called Easy Click, and it does exactly what it says. So at number 6 is the Braun MultiQuick 5, which we ranked as the best immersion blender. For anyone after a versatile hand blender without the premium price tag, this is the one to get. NutriBullet Pro 900 watt best personal blender. This blender delivers exactly what busy individuals need without any unnecessary complexity. It's sized just right for personal use. Even with that, it blends with the same speed, power, and consistency as traditional full-size blenders. And part of that comes from the stainless steel extractor blade, which uses cyclonic action to process the food. It also comes with multiple BPA-free cups, including 32-ounce and 24-ounce size, along with to-go lids, so you can blend your drink and take it with you right away. Starting with the protein shake test, it finished in just 40 seconds, and the result was exactly what you want: thick, smooth, and perfectly drinkable. Most importantly, this was one of the most effortless experiences we had since the blender did all the work on its own. We didn't need to shake the cup to have the ingredients reach the blade. When we tossed in frozen fruit, it didn't blink either. After 50 seconds, there was still a few tiny bits of berry skin and strawberry seeds in the final blend, but that's completely normal with ingredients like this. For the rinse test, we blended for 20 seconds, and it came out on top again. The rinse were blended so far that when we strained the mixture, barely any chunks were left behind. And so far, we haven't found any personal blender that can crush the ice as fluffy as this one. It wrapped the ice, crushed it down in 40 seconds. So based on all 5 tests, its performance score came to 9.8 out of 10. The NutriBullet Pro also scored highly on design and usability. The base is weighty enough to stay put, and unlike butter options, it doesn't chip, fade, or scratch easily. The cups are also durable despite their light build, and once the lids are locked in, there's zero spillage to worry about. And because it operates with a single speed and allows for hands-free operation, using it can be more intuitive. So last on our list is the NutriBullet Pro, which we ranked as the best personal blender and a great value for the money. If you don't have much space but still want serious blending performance, this blender is an excellent choice. So this is our list of the best blenders along with a quick review on their qualities. If you're interested in buying any of these blenders, we'll have the links in the description for all of them. We also put together an article and a video on how we ran our testing, so those are down below too. And if you enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe so you don't miss our next upload. Thanks for watching Shouldit, and see you in the next one. Bye!